Rob, all week you predicted that this wasn't going to go to the judges' decisions. You were incredibly confident that you're going to put him away. Talk to me about why you were so confident and you felt that the second time was going to go the way it did.
I just really studied the first match, and even though he's a taller guy, I was preparing for that, and I was just aiming a little too high. He was ducking just good enough to where I was catching him on the eye, and I don't really care how hard you hit. If you hit someone up here in the eye, you're probably not gonna knock them out. So I just really dialed in, and knew I had to just aim a little bit lower, and I clipped his chin 2 times in a row, and that was it.
I mean, that first strike from Dakota, hit you, looks like it hit you high. I know you were bleeding. The cut man was up there. From the outside, it looked like you might be in trouble if this was going to go deep. Did you have any worry in your mind at all?
No, I knew I was good. It was kind of surprising because I spar a lot, and I haven't had my nose bleed in a long time. It's been broke so many times that I wasn't worried about it being broke, but I still was like, fuck, what is it? I was worried about them, thinking it was a problem. Mm-hmm. I wasn't worried myself. I didn't feel hurt at all. I was just kind of a little more mad. That's probably what brought the knockout too. I'm like, this motherfucker hit my nose, so I definitely had to put it on him after that.
Did it make it more tender? Because the second strike, you didn't take it how you normally would.
Yeah, I think I was just more scared of getting hit in it again. I have to watch the replay because Herzog said it was kind of my fault why I got hit in it, but I felt like I was just standing, there same way both times, so I was definitely kind of worried about getting hit in it again. But like I said, I wasn't hurt from any of the hits. I felt great. He's a hard hitter, of course. I've never been hit by someone who hits as hard as him. But like I said, I got the best chin out here, so proving it.
Fighting him on back-to-back times, did he make any adjustments or any changes from the first time you fought him?
I said he did. The only thing he really changed is the first hit he went on 2, and I think he realized that didn't work for him. And I don't know if he was trying to gauge my timing of whenever I tense up. But I think he realized quickly that wasn't going to help him because he went back to striking on 3, and nothing felt different. He tried to hit me. I think he was trying to hit me lower or something. That's why he did clip my nose, but I don't know what.
In the post-fight interview, you talked about having your son in attendance. Was it the first time that he was here, and was it extra special for you?
Yeah, it was a little more pressure too. The first time my son here attending an event, it was so special. He was out there screaming his little butt off, and I was excited to have him out here. He's been wanting to go to the Vegas ones, but it's a little harder out in Vegas, especially when we're staying in the 21 and up hotel. And I definitely loved having him here, and I'm excited to go celebrate with him and my family.
Frank was just in here, and he said that next week he consider you in Blackburn. Would that be something that you'd welcome? And are you going to get on the phone with Frank and try to make that happen?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to enjoy this for a moment. But like I said, when I rechecked my weight, I was back up to 172 today. So, I'm ready for that 170 division. And, Blackburn has been tearing through it, but I don't think he's faced anyone on my level. And I think I could go up there and take him out as well.
Congrats on the win. In your post-fight interview, you talked about your chin and how you have the best chin in the game. I've talked to other strikers like Isaiah, and they say, obviously a chin is something you're inherently born with, but he also works in training at it. Can you talk about, is it just something you're born with, or how hard and what maybe exercises you do to work your jaw and chin to keep it that way?
Yeah, ultimately it boils down to, some people are just born with it. And but I do a ton of work to make my neck stronger. The chin's the thing getting hit, but your neck's what's really keeping your from getting knocked out. And I do MMA, of course, so my neck's always getting pulled on, from wrestling and grappling and stuff like that. But I do when I have a power slap match, I do extra neck workouts, and I just make sure it's as strong as can be.
Congrats again.
Thank you, man.
Hi, Rob. Congratulations. You just spoke about having your son there and how excited he was to be there. Have you been able to see him yet since the match has been over to see how?
No, I haven't got to see my son yet, but I did get to rewatch the replay of him backstage of him jumping up and down when I won, and it just got me a little emotional. So I'm super excited to go celebrate with him.
And like you said, Frank didn't want it sounded like he didn't really want you to move up yet and just keep building the division. Who realistically do you think could be next for you in your division?
Yeah, I don't think Frank wants me competing at both divisions at once, because I told him I'll win that bout, but he's like, well, what are you gonna do with your 155 bout? I said I'll run them both. It's not a big cut for me, but I don't think he wants that right now. So realistically, in the division, I was hoping to see Andrew Fields compete tonight, but his opponent got sick and wasn't able to compete. So maybe him, the only other guy that the other two guys that they offered, they already turned it down against me, so I don't think I'll see them. I definitely would like Dana to bring someone in, you know, a little more built like me, because like I said, this is gonna keep happening, keep lining them up, and I'll just keep taking this easy money.
Like fruit hanging on a tree.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Rob.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, how's it going?
Just a couple for me here. First, we're starting to see guys with like more extensive combat backgrounds take over. Like we've seen Godfrey, he's got some experience in bare knuckle. Obviously, you in MMA. There is a champion, and he's never really had any other combat experience other than, you know, going in power slap. But do you think eventually the sport's going to get to a point where these guys with extensive combat backgrounds are gonna, you know, advance further than the guys that are just training specifically for power slap?
I think that one's hard because there's pros and cons to having a combat background. Some of these guys who've been fighting their whole life, their chin's already cracked, so they come up here and they'll get knocked out by just some random guy, you know, and that puts a little more pressure on. I know I have a ton of pressure every single match because I do have a really good MMA record, and I'm just going, you know, against these guys who are just tough motherfuckers. So if I get knocked out by one of these guys, it puts a little more pressure on. But, you know, like I said, it depends on the fighter. You know, a lot of fighters don't like to get hit. You know, we're trained not to get hit. And some fighters, they just like that aspect of it. And I've always liked, you know, sparring. My coaches always tell me to put my hands back up. 'Cause sometimes I just like to get hit. So I think it really depends on the fighter.
And then I asked Frank this one as well. And I mean, it was tough for me because I'm Canadian. You're going up against my boy who's from Canada. But do you think there's ever a point where the corner could have been like, hey, man, I know Dakota's going to want to go out there, but like, hey, man, this is a real high risk, high reward situation. Like, if you don't go out there and knock this guy out who has pretty much an invincible chin at this point, like, it's probably going to be over. Like, do you ever think there's a point where they should just talk to their guy and be like, you know, maybe we'll save it for another day?
Yeah, but I think, you know, once you sign the contract, I think that's when you set in stone. You know, I'm ready to go do this, you know. Because myself, even, you know, I get super nerved up back in the back because I get more nervous for this than I do any of my MMA fights. And I still have to make that walk and just go put my chin out there. So I don't think that day will come, but I think we have a lot of guys who are ready to go. And if they're not, they'll never sign that contract.
Yeah, Robert, your hometown of Raton has dedicated April 24th as Robert Trujillo Day. I guess how special is that to you to be commemorated for your success in MMA?
It's awesome, man. My hometown, I come from a small town, and tell everyone that also puts a little more pressure because everyone there knows me. And you know, when you're from a big city, you know, you got your crowd of people, but like too much people might not know you or know when you're going to do your thing, you know. So coming from a small little town like that, like my whole town right now, like my phone's blowing up left and right. Like every single one of them's on their Facebooks, Instagrams, you know, just posting. But it also shows me how much love I got, you know, having that day, showing me how much the town has my back, you know. And it's awesome, man. Like they've had a couple parades for me after my big wins. And it's just nice to go back home and know I have that support.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.